One of the worst incriminations you can give against any society is the fact that this is a society that treasures things and uses people. If you go with that line of thought, I think we need to understand what the objectification of the human person is all about. One of the things that Pope Paul VI said with Humanae Vitae was the fact that if we don't assent to that teaching in good faith, one of the results is going to be the objectification and the abuse of women. That was back in the 1960s, mid-60s, and people thought he was just playing sour grapes. Today, in our world, there are 40 million active slaves through human trafficking today. 88% of those human slaves are being sold into the sex trade, beginning at the age of 12, primarily female, but also young males. Now, that 40 million that we have today in the world is more than the entire 400 years of the African slave trade. Why? Well, because we've gotten to that point that we as a society see the human being as either a product of pleasure or of profit. That we look at another human being and see that we can make money off of them or that human being can give us pleasure. If you don't think so, look at the whole idea of pornography. Today, it's a $40 billion a year industry. The effects of pornography on today's society just so warp the human being about the value and the worth of another human being. And especially for young people, those of you who are in high school, who look at pornography and think that that's what your sexual experiences and your sexual life is going to be like in marriage, you're pretty much warped for what married life and married love is all about. Trust me, people don't swing on chandeliers on their honeymoon night, okay? That's not what married love and married life is all about. But when we start to look at a human being and say that this is what they're good for, and when young guys in the locker room look at some girl walk by and say, yeah, I'd like to get a piece of that, you're part of that mentality that sees the human being is either a product of pleasure or profit. You don't see this girl as a person who's got a mother, a father, a brother, or sister. You don't see this person as someone made in the image and likeness of God. You don't see this person as someone made in the image and likeness of God who has faith and is longing for salvation. You see that person as someone who can bring you pleasure. And to look at another human being in terms of pleasure or profit is very destructive. The pornography today, that industry, and especially with the internet, has ruined so many lives, so many marriages, so many families, and so many people's notion of sexuality and what healthy loving is all about. Please, please, if you're falling into the trap, this is not a victimless crime. It screws with your head, it screws with your salvation, and more than anything, it screws with your notion of people who are made in the image and likeness of God when we see them simply as a product of pleasure or profit. If you are hooked into this, get help, go see your priest, go get some help. But please don't let this think that this is reality. When human beings are simply for pleasure or profit, we're on the road that we don't want to be on. Thank you for being with us. God bless you.